Alright, I'll pry myself away from Animal Crossing for just a moment to talk about the Fighter's Pass. About a year and a half has passed since its announcement, and now the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Fighters Pass is complete. The first one, anyways. Now we have a second one in production, and it really feels like this is a personal hell for Sakurai and Amiibo collectors alike. With the pass finally being finished, I figure I should offer my thoughts on how good or bad I thought the pass was overall. Spoiler alert, Byleth doesn't ruin it for me. I'll go over each fighter pack and briefly talk about the content that was offered, along with how impactful the content is in the grand scheme of Smash Bros. And to me personally. Being this is a review of the Fighter's Pass, I'll try and offer a fair and honest rank for each pack while putting personal bias aside. Now let's make like a bunch of jokas and start off with the curveball that capped off the Game Awards 2018.
Persona!
A relatively new game that wowed me way before its reveal in Smash Bros., our first challenger came from Persona 5, stylishly stealing the show at the Game Awards. I absolutely love Persona 5, so you can imagine the absolute shock I had driving to GameStop to pick up a copy of Smash Bros. Ultimate only to find that its protagonist was making their way into Smash Bros. What can I say about Joker other than what a bang to start with? Most people consider Joker to be a good start to the pass, and after looking over our selection, I would say that Joker was one of the best ways to start off this DLC journey. Joker screamed expect the unexpected, a theme that really resonated with a large majority of the Fighter's Pass. Well, except for these two, I suppose. Joker brings yet another Sega franchise along with opening the doors to the Sega subsidiary Atlus, developers of the Persona and Shin Megami Tensei series. The sly Phantom Thief boasts his powerful persona Arsene, coming in both his regular attire and school uniform. Mementos as a stage is fine and dandy, being a very stylized version of what a lot of people feared to be a simple, dark subway system. The music is by far one of Joker's best qualities, as the music in Persona is already composed of bangers, but Smash's remix take it to a new level. Which brings me to my next point. Joker brings in content not only from Persona 5, but all of the Persona franchise. Persona 3, 4, 5, and even 1 and 2 to some degree are represented in Joker's pack, along with the Mii costumes sold with his pack. The variations between 3, 4, and 5, be it in Joker's alts, the Mii costumes, the music, or the changes to mementos really help to represent the entirety of the franchise in Joker's single pack. Style really is the key word for Pack 1, as Joker brings in so many little details that just add to his character. A Final Smash specific victory screen, a never-ending loop victory screen similar to when you win a fight in P5, color variations matching the color scheme of each Persona game, I could go on and on. The other Phantom Thieves also get their time to shine, be it through spirits, stage cameos, Final Smash, or a taunt that never gets annoying, unlike his in-game counterpart. Tell me to go to sleep again and I will pull your eyes out, cat. All in all, Joker opened the door for speculation, showing that a strong connection with Nintendo wasn't really needed for a series in order to break their way into Smash. If I had to rank his pack, I'd give it a solid A rank, and I'd even go as far to say Joker's pack is the second best pack in the Fighter's Pass as a whole. You seriously get your money's worth with this one. Though Joker was not the only JRPG protagonist that was offered in the Fighter's Pass. Of course, I'm talking about everyone's favorite RNG-wielding quartet.
Yeah!
Although I had a very heavy association with Persona, having been a fan of both Persona 3 and 5, my association with Dragon Quest was next to nothing. As far as I knew, it simply existed, Slime and its Toriyama art style being the only recognizable parts of the series to me. That was until the codename Yusha, a moniker meaning hero in Japan that often is used for the DQ protagonists, threw Smash speculation on the Erdrick train for nearly half a year. Although Erdrick didn't end up being the fighter's name, we did end up getting the Erdrick along with Solo, 8, and the Luminary, all bundled together under the name Hero, which makes a lot more sense in hindsight. Through Smash, I became interested in Dragon Quest XI, and let me tell you, it was one of the best decisions I have ever made. The Dragon Quest franchise is full of charm and magic, DQ11 being what I would consider to be one of the greatest RPGs of all time. It could very easily be considered one of the best franchises that Square Enix have to offer, likely being on par or even better than Final Fantasy. There is no downplaying how significant this series is, especially to the East as a whole, being the most viewed and liked Smash Bros. Reveal in Japan with only 3 weeks of release. Representing 4 different Dragon Quest games, Hero adds a lot to the table both in terms of importance of their franchise and literally in moveset. Hero's RNG mechanic not only gives them a whole slew of specials at their disposal, but helps to represent the strategy of a JRPG, planning out each move with whatever loadout you currently have. It isn't Dragon Quest to a T, but it's a pretty damn good way of doing it at least. Spirits, Mii costumes, and stage cameos openly invite the world of Dragon Quest into that of Smash, bringing in enemies and allies alike. Luminary being the poster boy for this pack would mean that a lot of the content pulls from Dragon Quest XI in particular. This isn't to say the content from other Dragon Quest games is non-existent, as if that were the case, we wouldn't have our 3 alts and music selection. Speaking of music selection, it is easily the worst part of this pack. Spirits, alts, stage cameos, stage locales, nearly every factor of Heroes pack is at very least comparable to that of Joker's, if not better, but it's seriously lacking in the music department, coming with only 8 tracks that are all MIDIs. This is likely due to licensing issues with the music and DQ, so I can't say I'm surprised, especially with how much more content Hero had gotten compared to that of Cloud and Final Fantasy. Overall, I'd rank Heroes pack a B. A very good pack, just lacking in some areas that don't quite put it above and beyond. Of course, Hero wasn't the only earth-shattering reveal at E3 2019. Banjo and Kazooie are in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Banjo and Kazooie are in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. No matter how many times I say it, it just still doesn't feel believable. I grew up with these goofballs, and after the transition to Microsoft, I thought there was absolutely no way they were coming back. While Bandana Waddle Dee or Ridley were fighters I really wanted, my absolute dream pick were the delightful Bear and Bird duo. Banjo-Kazooie is one of the cornerstones of my childhood, being part of the reason why I even started this channel in the first place. So yeah, you could imagine my excitement seeing them make their way into Super Smash Bros. I would never in a million years have expected this to be possible. All factors point to the delightful duo not being a franchise Nintendo would like to pull from. Owned by their direct competitor, no new game in 10 years, significantly less important to the big end than several other franchises, and yet here they are! A phenomenal soundtrack with plenty of remixes along with some classic tunes, a delightful cast of wacky characters appearing as both spirits and stage cameos, and a magnificent reveal trailer that gets me excited watching it to this day. I could seriously go on and on about how much I love Banjo and Kazooie and how much their pack alone would be worth the $25 I put down on the Fighter's Pass. But how do they stand in terms of content with the rest of the pass? Ironically, Banjo's pack actually has a little less than that of every other pack in this pass, being one of the underdogs in terms of content. Most content pulls from Banjo-Kazooie, Tooie and Nuts and Bolts really taking a back seat to the singular game for the most part. And although not being as bad as Hero in terms of the music selection, Banjo's pack does offer the second least amount of music out of the pass. The flip side to this coin being that most of the music is composed of Smash remixes. Oddly enough, absolutely none of the Mii costumes in Banjo's pack are from Banjo-Kazooie, or any other Rare or Microsoft franchises like people expected. Instead, we got a couple of returning Miis, a couple of new Miis, and Sans Undertale along with his classic track Floral Fury. This isn't to say the amount of content Banjo's pack offers is terrible, it just happens to be a little less than what some people may realize. From a completely non-biased perspective, Banjo's pack I'd rank about a B. Though if I am being completely biased... Triple S, baby! Best pack in the game! Hands down, I still main them to this day. Doo-doo-dee-doo, Sans Undertale song! The same day I got to play as my beloved Bear and Bird, our next challenger was revealed, taking quite a few people by surprise.
Are you okay?
I'll be honest here, I have very little connection with this one. Terry Bogard is a character that I only really know in name and design, and pretty much nothing else outside of Smash. With even a little decent fighting game knowledge, Terry would pop up quite a bit. The problem being my personal fighting game knowledge was next to nothing, not being a genre I particularly enjoy. So there isn't much for me to add on a personal level to SNK's hat-wearing hero. That being said, Terry's pack hands down has to be the best amount of content out of any other pack in the game. Terry brings in an absolute boatload of SNK properties and content into Smash Bros. King of Fighters, Fatal Fury, Psycho Soldier, Metal Slug, you name it, Terry brings it. It's hard to not look at someone who has an insane amount of guest cameos, a good amount of spirits, a unique stage concept compared to what Smash is normally used to, and a whopping 50 tracks and say, yeah, this is still less than what Joker offered. The numbers that Terry boasts are incredible. I could know absolutely nothing about the guy, and I'd still consider him one of the best purchases that the pass has to offer. For $5, you're getting nearly 2 hours of music, a character with extra special moves based on command inputs, 11 spirit battles, and enough history to make any fighting game nut go mad. Combined with the fact that Terry was completely unexpected. Most people thinking Heihachi would be our next fighting game character to join Smash's ranks. I wonder how Tekken fans must be feeling with Fatal Fury and now ARMS getting in. Not to mention the fact that without King of Fighters, there's a very good chance Super Smash Bros. Wouldn't exist, as it's the game that inspired Sakurai to make a fighter in the first place. Overall, Terry's pack more than fits the S rank, going above and beyond when it comes to the sheer amount of content you are getting. Weird how they put what you could consider both the best pack and the worst pack right next to each other.
Let the lesson begin.
Byleth is not a bad character, so if you're here to watch me bash on Fire Emblem, you are going to be a little disappointed. Three Houses is actually my first proper introduction to the series, and although I haven't played much of the game, it's still a damn good one to start out with. A delightful cast of characters, an interesting storyline, the game's mechanics are much easier to comprehend in this one's tutorial than any other. If you ask me, overall, it's just a real good JRPG. Fire Emblem is one of those series that has had a massive glow up, going from a niche title only available in Japan to one that breaks records and nearly has become as mainstream and recognizable as other Nintendo franchises both in the West and in the East. So was Byleth a good idea to have in Smash Bros? Well, that's a tricky question. In conception, Byleth and Three Houses most definitely should have a spot in Smash. Byleth alone represents Fire Emblem's weapon triangle better than all 7 other playable... Holy crap, there's really 7? It's for this reason a lot of people will refuse to look at the content of this pack and judge it based off of what they are getting, instead opting to claim that it's bad because it adds more from a series that already has plenty. There isn't anything inherently wrong with thinking that way, but pretending Byleth doesn't have something to offer would be a little unfair. That being said, Byleth's content is decent, but not quite as grand as some other packs. Byleth's stage is by far probably the best content you're getting from their pack, being 4 unique stages even if they are all walk-offs packed into one with cameos on each individual section. And that's great, definitely something that should be appreciated. But there is also the fact that Byleth is from a universe we have already seen in Smash. It's hard to argue that Three Houses content isn't deserved, but it most definitely is not as flashy as other franchises due to being a universe that's already in the game. And unlike ARMS, it's a franchise that's been very well represented in stages, music, spirits, and characters, causing the pack to feel a little saturated and samey to the content we already have in the base game. Not to mention the fact that thematically, Fire Emblem has a lot of shared elements with that of Dragon Quest as a franchise, only adding to this feeling of oversaturation. Ironically, putting Byleth's pass at the end is probably the best financial decision they could have made. By the time the other 4 sold people on the pass, they couldn't get a refund with this wacky blue-haired anime swordsman that got in. Upside, Cuphead and his signature track, Megalovania, got in with a Mii costume. Downside, Rabbids are a Mii costume now. Someone get me a bucket because I'm going to vomit. Jokes aside, Byleth's pass ranks somewhere between a C and a B for me. I haven't really decided which. It's good content, but damn is it a sour note to end on. Though I'm happy as all can be for Fire Emblem fans.
Final results.
So where does the pass stand to me overall? Let's go through a quick wrap-up. Joker started off the pass strong, offering a good deal of content and opening with the theme of Expect the Unexpected. Hero added the legacy of a phenomenal franchise to Smash's roster, boasting an amazing cast of characters, even if a poor music selection accompanied it. Banjo and Kazooie on a personal level had me screaming and crying, but from a content perspective don't exactly stack up with some of the other fighters. Terry absolutely dominated the competition, being a love letter to fighting games, SNK, and good things to spend $5 on. And Byleth, although not necessarily adding bad content, did bring us more from a world we already have existing in Smash, which is not exactly something to get excited over. All in all, I'd give our first Fighters Pass a solid A ranking. It's a good purchase if you have the money for it, and it really expands the Smash Bros. Roster. For only $25, it really is a steal, and only gets me more excited for what they have in store for us in Season 2 of the Fighters Pass. Of course, where would one of these goofy Smash Bros. Videos be without an arbitrary and loving memory segment? So, without further ado, you. Let's be honest, the moment Persona 5 came out, Persona 4 was going to get the same treatment as Persona 3. Makoto. If they didn't want you, they most certainly wouldn't want you. Get it? Because they both are you. Tails. Expecting the Sonic franchise to get any more content before Fire Emblem? You gotta be joking. Labo Man. Wait, you're joking, right? Nobody actually thought Labo would be a fighter, right? Peachette. Honestly, thank God for this one. Toy Link. Ruining the dream of 4 Links, 2 Zeldas, and 1 Ganon. Slime. It unfortunately is not slime time. Erdrick from Dragon Quest I. Why settle for this guy when you have the better version anyhow? Mumbo. You ever think of the possibilities if Nintendo bought Rareware back in the 2000s? Gruntilda. No, seriously. Grunty, Mumbo, Conker, they really screwed the poochie on this one. Goemon. Apparently Goemon is more or less the Rayman equivalent in Japan, though I honestly had no idea this game existed. Sans. Would Sans really work as a fighter? I honestly think Frisk might be better. Oh well, at least he brings Megalovania with him. Rookie. Daemon X Machina still feels like a fever dream that just never actually existed, I swear. T-Block. Tetris walked so Puyo Puyo could fly. Nakoruru. For a solid minute, you could hear the fans of Nakoruru saying she was the most likely SNK character, only to be silenced by the all-powerful, "Are you okay?" Haomaru. You really think Haomaru was getting in before Nakoruru? Don't kid yourselves. Kyo. Look, man, I know that you're the protag of King of Fighters, but Terry is the face of not just the series, but the whole goddamn company. Athena. A good choice for an SNK heroine for sure, but nothing quite compares to Terry. Gen 8 starters. Although the first evolutions were only deconned, I think Gen 8 doesn't really have a chance even with ARMS and Three Houses content. Leon. No, not the second best Resident Evil protagonist. Jill. No, not the best Resident Evil protagonist. Akira Howard. Astral Chain crossing into Smash could have been really cool. Really must have been a case of wrong place at the wrong time. Adelgard. She's only 1 out of 3 parts of the equation, and she's also a fascist. Dimitri. Some people say Dimitri is edgy, others say he is cute, I say he isn't playable. Claude. I still love this man, and I would probably die for him. Altair. At least Ezio still has a chance, right? Right? Rabbids. Honestly, this could be considered both the best and worst timeline, the fact they were even a contender at all. Cuphead. Indie fans must be floral furious right about now. Kunio-kun. Holy crap, I'm surprised Kunio even made it this far. Well done, man, well done. Lotus. Warframe? Seriously? Well, tickle me surprised. Ring Fit Trainer. This would have been the best DLC fighter of all time, I kid you not. Duran. Another JRPG swordsman bites the dust, leading to the inevitability that is Lloyd Irving. Whew, that sure was a lot of them. Though really, even if I say these are deconfirms, who the hell knows what's going to happen? About a year ago, I would have said that ARMS didn't have a chance in hell at being DLC, but what do you know, I was wrong. Thankfully, there won't be much waiting before the ARMS character completely changes the course of speculation and baffles absolutely everyone. I can hardly contain my excitement. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to my longest video yet. A lot of time and effort went into making this one, so I really hope it was worth the wait. Comments, likes, dislikes, subscribing, it all helps me gauge what my viewers like, so any of that would help me a boatload. You can also give me feedback on my Twitter or my Discord, both having links in the description below. That being said, man, that was a lot of recording. How about a breath? Seriously, how do other people do 30 minutes of this stuff? Until next time, I'll see ya.